there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Wolters and today we're in Bath, England, and today what we have for you are the don'ts of visiting Bath. And the first don't I have for you is don't forget to enjoy the Bath Abbey from inside, but also outside, because the facade here is incredible to see. Just taking in the artwork that's on the outside is amazing. And if you notice, on the left side over here, you'll notice one of those angels aren't crawling up or climbing up the ladder, they're crawling down the ladder. You'll never guess who that bad angel is. So you have that. But inside as well, it's really incredible. When you see the ceiling, how it's done in there, there's over 1,500 memorials that are on the walls when you're there. I mean, it's truly incredible. And if you get to be here when there's a performance going on, the acoustics in there is amazing. So if you get a chance, pay the fee to go in. Also, don't forget, you can actually pay to go up too, so you can have a view from the top, so you can see some of the city, but just going up and taking it all in, the Bath Abbey is fantastic. My second don't for you that you don't want to miss, don't miss out on going to the Roman baths. Now, when you go there, well, you don't actually go in and bathe there. There's another place you can go to get the Bath Springs, but you know, the name Bath came from the thermal waters here, the bath that's here, right? And the Romans had baths here as well, and they actually found the foundations of those baths here. And so there's a museum that shows you the foundation, talks about the history of it as well, and you can see the baths. And they've done it, I mean, it was done in the Victorian times. They have all kinds of great information down there for you to truly understand what's there. What's cool is you have the audio guide that comes with your ticket, makes it so much easier to enjoy and understand what's going on. Stuff for kids too. And honestly, what I'd say to do is don't forget to pre-book your ticket to go in, because otherwise you might have a long line or that might sell out. But if you pre-book it, you know your time frame to go in, and there's a separate line for you, so you can kind of skip the queue because you already have it. So it makes life a lot easier when you're here. And the thing is, if you're coming to Bath, it's not just beautiful buildings like this and this you want to see. You want to see the buildings all around the city. Oh, also, don't forget you can pay a little extra and you can go up to the top as well if you want a nice little view. And no, don't think you can swim in the Roman baths. You can't do that when you're here. There's another place you can go to get the thermal baths, but don't think you can swim in this. You know, also, if you've got your kids, don't forget to hold them back, because there's not little, stuff keeping people from falling in or throwing their toys in. We had that here when we were here today. So do be aware of that, because sometimes people do think they can get in. No, don't do that. So I got to tell you, don't think you're going to be alone when you come here to Bath. This is one of the most popular places for people to visit in England for good reason. You know, from the Abbey to the Baths to the Georgian Architecture, all the fantastic things that are here, but also things that are nearby here. And I'm going to tell you this, if you're getting a little overdone with all the tourists, don't forget about the day trips you can do from Bath. Yes, you can go to Stonehenge and see the stones up there that have been there for thousands of years, or you can go in the Cotswolds and see those beautiful villages that are there. Or if you want, you can head over to Cardiff. There's a direct train from here. You're going to be there in less than an hour, so you can spend some time in Cardiff and see some of Wales. Or you can head over to Salisbury and see the Salisbury Cathedral. There's a lot of things you can do from here. Bristol's really close. I mean, you have a lot of options if you are staying here, so if you're getting a little bit too much touristy stuff, you'll be fine doing some of the day trips too. Since Bath is so popular for a weekend destination, I want to tell you this, don't wait to book your accommodation. And I'm not just saying on the weekends or in the summer, I'm saying anytime you come here, because though there are a lot of accommodation options, what you want to get or where you want to stay, sometimes those places book out. So it's a good idea to book early, so then you know you have the accommodation. You can kind of base your ideas and what you're going to do around there, and also your parking as well. Because if you're going to be driving here, I got to tell you this, don't pass up parking when you find it. Like if you find a parking spot and you can park there, park it, leave it. Just explore the city for the rest of the day with that car in one spot, because it is a bit hard to find parking. That's why when you're getting your accommodation, don't forget to ask, what is the parking situation? I know when we stayed here last time, they actually gave us a parking pass to park on our street that our place was on, so that made life a little bit easier. But it is one of those things, parking isn't really a fun thing when you are here, so park and leave it alone, but don't forget to ask what the parking thing is for your accommodation. Also, with all the people that come here and all the fantastic things, I gotta tell you this, don't expect a Bath vacation to be a cheap vacation, because whether you're going to have, tea at the Royal Crescent, or you're going to be going out to eat, or you're going to be having some drinks with some buddies, or your accommodation, or the parking, the prices add up quickly. So just know, it might be an issue when you're here. It's not super bad, but I just don't want you to think it's going to be like, oh, I'm going up to Chester, I'm going to Liverpool kind of prices. No, it's closer to London than going to the north. And it's not just your accommodation you don't want to wait to book on. Don't forget to book reservations for dinner, because this is such a popular place and the locals like to go out and eat too. If there's a place you really want to eat at when you're here, make sure you do book a reservation. Sometimes it's only the day before and you'll be fine. Sometimes you might want to do it a little bit earlier. But if you're just walking around during the day and you see a place like, I want to eat there, don't be afraid to walk up and just ask, hey, can I make a reservation for later tonight? They'll be happy to do it. I mean, my mom did it herself. Look, my mom did it all by herself, booked our place for the night. She walked in, talked to them. It was no big deal. And so that's one of those things, I think, for really to get the true eating experience when you're here, not just the afternoon tea stuff, you really do need to make those reservations just to make your life easier. Otherwise, waiting in line, going to have to eat at maybe some more of the touristy places, you don't want that. You want to have the real deal stuff. So make sure you don't forget to make those dinner reservations. Now, all this Georgian architecture is fantastic, but I want to tell you, there's a don't I need to tell you about this. When you do come here to Bath, if you're going to stay in some of the townhouses to be there, realize they're multiple stories tall and there's usually not an elevator. So if you have any mobility issues, you need to make sure you let them know so they can put you on a lower level. So I'm here staying with my mom. I'm up on the 4th floor. She's on the ground floor because she can't go as far. So I just want you to know that, because it will take a few steps to get to your room. So another important don't I think you should know about when you come here is don't think that the Sally Lunn buns and the Bath buns are the same thing. Honestly, when you see them compared to each other, you're like, wait, they're totally different. Why would anybody compare? It's just because they're both from here, okay? Now, if you think about a Bath bun's a small bun, a sweet bun, and inside it's got raisins in it, and there's like the sugar sprinkles on top. But what's cool is they actually bake it with a sugar cube inside the bun. Yeah, it's a little bit sweeter than the Sally Lunn buns, to say the least. But the thing is, what you do is you cut it in the middle, like a hamburger bun, and then you put clotted cream in there. Oh, that's really good. Like, that's something you should have. The Bath buns are different. But the Sally Lunn buns, they're a lot bigger. Like, they literally look like a big kind of hamburger bun, if you think about it that way. And it's definitely more of a brioche kind of thing. You can put stuff inside of it too, but don't think they're the same. But don't pass up on either of them, because they're both worth getting. Now, if you're looking for something that is very much a symbol of Bath, you have the Pulteney Bridge here, and there are shops literally on the bridge. See, there's the water's right there, the bridge going over, and the shops. You can go there, though I would say don't be surprised if you don't buy much on the bridge, but don't pass over walking through it and checking out and doing a little window shopping while you're on the bridge. Another don't I have for you when you're here in Bath, don't feed the gulls, okay? Just don't. They have signs around not feeding these guys because they're evil. They're evil. Just letting you know, they'll take your dinner and they'll laugh at you, okay? Now, when you're looking to come to Bath, don't worry if you can't find a place to stay here in the Historic Center. It's okay, because they actually have a really nice public transportation system here. So you can get in if you're staying a little bit farther away from the center, because the parking situation, which I'm sure I'm talking about in this video, will come up. And so the fact that you can leave your car somewhere and just enjoy the city and get around very easily is very nice. But also, don't think it's hard to get to Bath, because yes, there are day trips from London that do this, but you need to spend more time than that. Don't think this is just a day trip. You can do the main sites, but you want to spend more time when you're here. But the transportation to get here, there's plenty of trains all the time going from London. You can do that, or other parts of England. If you want to fly into here, you got a couple hours to Heathrow, maybe 45 minutes to get to Bristol Airport. So you have options when you are here. So the transportation connections and within the city are very nice. And when you're here, I want to tell you this, don't pass up the museums. There are tons of museums you can see when you're here. The Holborn Museum, if you want to see the art collection there, is fantastic. The Victoria Art Gallery is really nice to see as well. If you want to see all that Georgian architecture we talked about, well, go to One Royal Crescent, and they actually have it set up like it would have looked back when it was built. I mean, it's really a beautiful place to be. And if you're tired of the art and history kind of stuff, you can also go to the Herschel Museum of Astronomy. If you're not sure, Herschel's the guy that found Uranus. Yes, dad jokes even come into my videos. Sad, I know. And the thing is, I think it's important just to note this. Don't miss the vibe when you come here to Bath. This city, it's got something. I mean, it has the history, it has the architecture, it has museums, but it has a really big student population as well, a big tourist population as well, which gives it a whole different vibe than other places you see in England, because that's one of the things you really enjoy about this city, because it does have such a different vibe when you're here. And there's all kinds of different parts of that, because you know what? You don't have to think that it's just going out and you know, seeing the history stuff. There's lots of activities you can do outside. You can go cycling, you can go take boat tours, or go on the canal, on the River Avon, or go on the canals that are here. There's all kinds of things you can do. Go out in the countryside, do the hikes, go and do the Cotswolds and stuff. You can do these things from here, which is really nice to make it kind of a mixed up kind of vacation when you come here. And the thing is, if you are here, one thing I'll tell you is when you're in the city, don't miss the buskers when you are in Bath, because they've got some good buskers that are here. They'll be very loud, so you'll be able to hear them, but I've heard rock, I've heard country, I've heard opera, like really good opera singer kind of quality buskers when you're here. So definitely take that in as well, because that's part of the ambiance when you come to Bath. And speaking of that ambiance, I think don't be surprised if you see people dressing the part for Jane Austen, because you will see people dressed up in period pieces when you are here, and I think that just kind of adds to a little bit more of the city. I mean, you can come for the Jane Austen Festival if you want, but even outside the Jane Austen Festival, you will see people dressed up in their Victorian dress and all these kind of things. So it is kind of a fun thing to see when you are here, when you're like, hey, they're dressed up and they're dressed up. Yeah, it's kind of funny when you see someone dressed up in a fancy period piece and they're carrying Burger King. So it is kind of funny. Also, don't forget your literary heroine, Jane Austen, from here in Bath. And they have the Jane Austen Center where you can actually go and learn about her history and her life, which is actually really cool. We went there with the boys and they even enjoyed it. And if she's not your cup of tea, right up there's Mary Shelley's House of Frankenstein you can do too. So a couple literary gems here in Bath that you can check out. But I will say the Mary Shelley House of Frankenstein, not as much of the literary history thing as the Jane Austen Center, but fun. They got an escape room and stuff. So if you're looking for something else to do, give me something fun. So as I'm walking through the city with my mom, I asked her, what is something that people need to realize when they come here? And she said, the walking is something you need to realize. Look, don't forget good walking shoes when you're coming here, but don't forget to be prepared for the walking, because it is a very
hilly experience.
Yes, so you will be going a lot of walking and a lot of ups and downs. So just know that, just so you have the right pairs of shoes when you're going to go around, because those can get a little slick when it does rain, because it will rain, wouldn't you say, Mom?
Yeah, every day.
Literally every day we've been here, it's been like that. But beautiful city, but just be ready for that, because you're going to want to explore. And even though the public transportation is really good here and takes you all over, you're going to be walking most of the time anyway. So just be ready for it. Now, outside of the Abbey and the Roman baths, what Bath is really known for is their Georgian architecture. So don't worry, it'll be easy for you to figure out why it's called the Georgian gem when you start seeing architecture like this. I mean, when you're here, this is the Royal Crescent, where you see the circus, or just the buildings in general. When you're here, you really see the Georgian architecture style really permeates the city, and it's really beautiful to see. And if you really want to learn more about it, you actually hear the Royal Crescent, go to one Royal Crescent right there. They actually have it set up what it would have been like when these were built, and so you can have that, which is really cool. And what's nice is when you're here and you take in the Georgian architecture and you really get kind of this like Victorian, English vibe when you're here, I'm going to tell you this. Don't pass up a chance to have afternoon tea somewhere here in Bath. There's tons of places that'll do it. If you want a lighter cream tea, or if you want the full afternoon tea, you can do that when you're here. But this is one of those cities. I feel like for me, for like the medium-sized cities in England where you still can get that like, feel like your old world England kind of afternoon tea kind of thing, Bath and York are the two places to do it. So when you are here, take in the architecture and take in an afternoon tea as well. And if you're looking to get in and out of Bath, don't forget the central station in Bath for the train is called Bath Spa. The train station and bus station are in the same place. Whichever you come in, you come to the same place. It's near the downtown historic part, so you're fine there. But yeah, very easy to get to. You can also get the bus to Bristol Airport from there too, just in case.